Welcome back to CordcuttersLI, where we help to save you money on your cable bill. Well, the brand new Amazon FireStick 4K Max second generation is here, and we're going to take a look at it in today's video. Is upgrading to this latest FireStick worth it? Is it now the best Fire TV device Amazon has to offer? Stick around and you can decide for yourself as we dive into it head first to see what all the hype is about. Better processor, more storage, enhanced remote, new operating system, better Wi-Fi. What does all that mean? And does it make our streaming experience any better? Can we still jailbreak it to install all our favorite third-party apps? I'll answer all those questions and more coming right up. So if you're curious what all the buzz is about over the brand new FireStick 4K Max second generation, grab some popcorn, sit back on that couch, and let's go. This video is brought to you by Atlas VPN, a feature-packed VPN that helps protect your privacy while streaming online. See the link below for some more info, including a big discount. More on Atlas VPN after the tutorial, so stay tuned. Okay, so before I fire up the new Fire Stick and show it to you, I'm going to briefly gloss over some of these specs. I'll stop on a couple of them that are key. Basically, the CPU is slightly faster. The older version of the Fire Stick has 1.8 gigahertz speed. The new one 2.0, so a marginal difference there. The GPU, or the graphics chip, is 850 megahertz versus 750 on the old model. The internal storage, this is the biggest by far improvement. We've doubled the storage space on the new 2003 version to 16 gigs. This is something that we've all been waiting for. The operating system on the new version is Fire OS 8, which is basically Android 11, where the older model had Fire OS 7, which was Android 9. This really doesn't mean a lot to most people. You're not going to really notice the difference so much on the Fire Stick, but it is always best to have the latest version. The Wi-Fi version, again, is somewhat marginal. Wi-Fi 6 support on the older 2021 version versus Wi-Fi 6E on the new version. Well, most people don't even have Wi-Fi 6 in their houses right now, so, this might be something worthwhile later on when people upgrade to 6 or even 6E in their house, get new routers and so on. You might see a bit of improvement. But basically 6E is supposed to allow for more devices to be connected without interfering with each other. The remote on the new version has the enhanced Alexa voice remote and has a couple of more buttons, and we're going to look at those in just a second. But that's the overall list of specs, the differences between the old version and the new. Now let's take a look at the remote. Okay, so on the left we have the new enhanced Alexa voice remote that comes with the new Fire Stick 4K Max second generation. And on the right we have their standard Alexa voice remote that came with the 4K Max first generation. You can see they jumbled the buttons around a little bit. The biggest difference you can see so far is that it's considerably larger, the new remote, the enhanced remote. And they've also added basically two buttons. They've moved some buttons around, but that button there with the two squares on top of each other, that's new. And then the gear button in the middle below the live TV button is new on the new remote. We'll get to that gear button in a few moments. I believe they really dropped the ball on this one, and you'll see why in a little bit, so stay tuned. And the other button, the one with the squares, this is the recent apps button, and this is kind of useful, and I'll show you that feature as well. And then the last difference here is that they've changed up some of the pre-programmed app buttons. Here you still have Prime Video and Netflix, but the bottom two on the new remote, at least in the US version, is DirecTV and Peacock. The older version had Disney Plus and Hulu. And this is going to vary from generation to generation and from country to country. Are these buttons remappable? Maybe. I haven't tested it yet. We shall see. If that's something that you'd like me to find out and tell you all about, put some comments down below, and I'll be sure to make a video on that coming up real soon. So we've talked enough and looked at some stuff. Now let's go ahead and fire up the new Fire Stick 4K Max second gen, and let's see what it has to offer. All right, so this is the home screen of the new 4K Max second gen. The layout of this home screen actually surprised me quite a bit when I first got this all fired up. And that is because, if you recall, on the latest updates to the original 4K Max, they kind of shuffled around this this top row here, where they moved or joined this profile icon button over here to the gear button. And so they kind of put both of those on top. And if you go into the gear and go down on the older model, you actually had an extra tile here that was just for profile. where here you actually go into the profile settings. So that's one key difference. I'm wondering if Amazon found that that wasn't all that popular and kind of, backslid on that that update and chose not to go with this with that format with 4K Max second gen. I guess time will tell. But anyway, let's go over to the gear and I will show you the specs. If you go into My Fire TV and you go into About, if I move myself out of the way here, you'll see that this is the Fire TV's 4K Max second gen. We have 11.45 gigs free out of 1298 available. Yes, this is 16 gigs in total. There is some system files and so on that take up a few gigs, so you don't have all 16, but 11 and change, close to 11 and a half gigs is a lot compared to the earlier version. In fact, any other version of the Fire Sticks. Software version, Fire OS 8.1 in this case, like I said earlier, Android 11. If you go down to storage, you'll see, as I said, plenty of storage available here. I don't have a USB connected at the moment. Back to the home screen here, you will see that a lot of these apps really aren't even here. Like if you go into Netflix, for example, it'll just bring you to the screen to download Netflix if you want it. So it's not necessarily there. It's just sort of a placeholder, assuming that you're going to want to install Netflix. When I set up the Fire Stick originally, it asked me if I wanted to set it up with any streaming services that I had, and I said no, because I did want to see how much storage was available, bare bones, and that's where we are right now. So just browsing around the interface, it's very responsive. I don't see any issues. I don't see a drastic improvement, off the top of my head with what they have here versus the older Fire TV 4K Max. I mean, it's about the same as far as its responsiveness and so on. I'm going to pause the recording now. I'm going to install a couple of these apps, Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video is already there, and so on. So we can look at, how some of these streaming apps perform. And then we're going to get to that question about whether or not we can still jailbreak or install third-party apps on this new Fire Stick 4K Max. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what I did while I was paused there for a moment is I installed Netflix, I installed YouTube, and I set up Prime Video. And I also installed Downloader because I'm going to get to those third-party apps that we're waiting to see about in just a little bit. But for now, let's go ahead and open up some of these apps and see how they perform. Let's start with Netflix, see how quickly it opens and how I can navigate around. Seems pretty normal. Again, shooting around the interface. It's moving along pretty well. Let's give something a quick test here. I don't even know what this show is. But yeah, it starts up pretty quickly here. I'm not going to play anything for any length of time. Get out of there. But yeah, Netflix works pretty well. Go over to YouTube now. Let's open that up. That opened up pretty quickly. Let's do a quick search here of picture looks great. No streaming issues at all. No lag. Everything looks like it's working quite nicely. Give it a little fast forward here. Yeah, I don't see any issues at all with YouTube. Let's go over to Prime Video and check that out. That opens up pretty quickly as well. Scrolling around. Let's give a quick test on something here. I did notice that this is set up for 4K. This device I'm on right now is 1080p. It's not 4K. So it's a little flaky. I have to look into this a little bit. I think there are probably some settings I need to set depending on the device that you're connected to. But you can see what I'm seeing here. I'm not all that crazy about what I'm seeing where, you see these pauses and things. The first time I opened it up, I actually saw a message. I wish I had captured that about you know, the device, that it wants to play 4K and it's not a 4K device I'm connected to, and so on and so forth. But we're going to revisit that in another video, I think, real soon. Prime Video, Amazon's own app, is really the only one I had a little bit of issue to, but I think, like I said, it's something that can easily be resolved with some settings. I'm going to look at that. That might be a short video for another time. So before I get to the question about jailbreaking this new Fire Stick, I want to show you those two buttons that I was telling you about. If you look here, remember I showed you earlier, there's that gear button in the middle and also the recently used apps button. This is a new button here they just added on this remote. If you push that quickly, it shows you recent apps that you've had open. And this is really pretty cool. This is a pretty good feature because, you know, sometimes if you, you know, you don't put it on this home row or this favorites bar to get to it, you may want to just hit that button to bring you that right there, and gets to that really nicely. The other button, the one with the gear, that's the one I told you earlier where I think Amazon really dropped the ball on. So normally when you want to go to the settings in a Fire Stick, you can either scroll over to the right and go into the gear and then go down into the settings, or a little quicker, you can go to the left, just 4 clicks, go into the gear, and there you are, right? So you would imagine that, you know, wherever you are, if you hit that gear button, it should bring you right here, right? Well, let's see. Hit the home button, start over. And now let's hit this gear button. So as you can see, it really does the same thing as holding in the home button on the remote for a moment. It doesn't bring you into settings at all. In fact, you can't even move to the left to jump over to the right to settings. You actually have to click over to settings, and then it brings you to the screen where all your settings tiles are. That, I feel, is a mistake on Amazon's part, because let's look. If we just quickly move over to the gear, we're there. It's, you know, 4 or 5 clicks and you're there, right? Same thing here. If you click that gear button, you still have 4 or 5 clicks to get to settings. It's kind of dumb if you ask me. So they really need to fix that. Amazon, if you're listening, you need to work on that, buddy. So anyway, I'm going to hit the home button now, and I'm going to show you that you can still jailbreak the Fire Stick 4K Max 2nd generation. And it's basically done in the same exact way as the earlier versions, where you go over to the gear and you move down to My Fire TV. And as you see here, normally there's a developer options button in here. It's not here because that's the way they do it these days. Click on About, and while you're hovering over where it says Fire TV Stick 4K Max, just hit the select button 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it says no need, you're already a developer. So when you go back a step, now you see developer options here. You can go into developer options, go down to install unknown apps, choose downloader, and select on. And now basically the Fire Stick is jailbroke or ready to install third-party or unknown apps on your device. So I know a lot of you know how to do that, but just in case you don't, you open up downloader and then you can go to a website. I actually had set the CordcuttersLI website as a favorite already, but if you don't know how to get there, you can use the short code 89364, and you can go in there. You go over to tutorials, click on that, and you'll be brought to just tons and tons of apps that you can install on your Fire Stick. I am going to install one right now. We'll just install Crackle. And I wanted to show you this because the installation screens look a little different on this new device. We're going to look at that in a second here. We hit download. And as you'll see, the screen appears a little different here. And we'll get to that in just a second. So did you catch that? That screen is very, very new. Move over to click install. Just takes a moment. And then you can, same thing as before, you'll hit done here. So you can then go to delete and delete again to remove that installation file. And that's it. Crackle's now installed. So now that Crackle's installed, on earlier versions of the Fire Stick, I used to tell you to hold in the home button and then go over to apps, remember, and then go down and, you know, move that that new app to the home bar or favorites bar. Well, they've changed that, because watch what happens when I hold in the home button now. Normally right here, it would say apps, but that's no longer on this screen. So what you need to do is actually go over to this apps button, click on it. Then you'll see, if you move to the left, you'll see at the bottom, Crackle's installed there. And you need to move it to front if that's what you're looking to do. So that's another change. I think that's a change for the worse. That's a very common thing that people want to do, holding the home button and then go to apps. You can no longer do that on this version. So take that for what it's worth. Now for a closer look at Atlas VPN. Experience the power of this military-grade encrypted VPN, compatible with all the tech gear from your Amazon Fire Stick or Android TV streaming devices to smartphones, laptops, and more. Connecting to Atlas VPN's global network is a breeze. Just pick your desired country or city and bam, you're instantly connected and protected. Forget limitations. Atlas VPN lets you connect from an unlimited number of devices all at the same time, giving you unbeatable freedom. What's more, Atlas VPN offers some of the most wallet-friendly subscriptions around, starting at just $1.83 a month. Ready to grab this great deal? Don't wait. Click on the exclusive CordcuttersLI link below for a limited time, and you'll unlock a jaw-dropping 85% discount off the regular price. Okay, so there you go. A pretty close look at the new 4K Max 2nd generation just came out a few weeks ago. After you've seen it here today, what's your opinion? Are you going to upgrade to this version? Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think. And also, while you're down there, if you'd like me to make any new videos on the new FireStick 4K Max, teach you how to do something that you didn't know how to do, please go ahead and let me know about that as well. So if you learned anything here today, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, share this and all of your favorite CordcuttersLI videos with your friends. This not only helps the YouTube algorithm to get more people to watch my videos, it also helps to support the channel. Thanks for watching.